So after a 1 week break from racing, RPL has returned for another round of Formula 1. After 10 unique rounds ending in Austria for round 10, we now begin the second half of the Season 7 championship season, and we are in Le Castellet in France. This is RPL Formula 1. Welcome along, ladies and gentlemen. I am Ironwolf, and we are, well, looking at a wet quali, to say the least, for this, for tonight's event. So, 16 drivers are in the field, but it will go up to 17 because one has joined, and he'll be here. We'll have to see what happens here tonight as we figure out who will be showing on up in racing. But anyways, so last 2 weeks ago, which was Austria, that was won by Scyther, collecting his 10th win of the RPL season. And yeah, he's continuing his dominating championship run. He is 104 points ahead of the Chiller, 225 to 121. In third place is Luke with 91. And then it is Cryptic in fourth with 81. And fifth place is Maxwell with 63. These guys are actually out and about onto the track. We'll move on to the Constructors' Championship. Red Bull actually dealing with a closer battle with Mercedes. It is 268 to 224, and Ferrari sitting in third with 186. But now, let's take a look at those that are competing here tonight. So we have 17 drivers in this field, and let's take a look at all these drivers that are here as we are on with Owen. He is going to be the first driver to start his timed lap on this track. So here we go. So here we go. So the list. We have NRM KVS. Yep, back in it for the first time in a long time. He is in the Williams tonight. We have a newcomer on the PC. Jacob in the Ferrari, filling in for TB because TB is dealing with some force feedback issues. So hopefully he will have that problem fixed, and we'll be back in action next week. Owen has invalidated his laps, so now we move on to Red Fire. Zakaria moves up into Alfa Romeo, not only because of TB's absence, but also because PSR Connor is not here tonight, and also his reserve to fill in, Egg, has also not available as well. And also to add in the other Alfa Romeo driver, which is another newcomer, Sven, he is not here either. Philaden, aka Fanflo, is in the McLaren, moving from the Mercedes Academy. The Chiller is in the Red Bull, Maxwell in the Ferrari, Beatnik in the moving from Alpine to Mercedes, Cryptic in the other Red Bull, Owen in the Alpha Tauri, Reese and Red Fire, We are in the Alpine, as red sets the benchmark, 42-1. Reese, by the way, was in Red Bull, now in the Alpine. And he sets the fastest, sets faster than Red Fire, 41.0. Let's see, Depth Knight is in the other Williams. Tadpole loaned from Red Bull Academy to being in Haas tonight. Luke in the Alfa Romeo on loan as well. Potter, who debuted in F1 Tier 2 earlier in the weekend, back on Friday, he's in Haas, debuting in Tier 1. Joseph Loki is in the other McLaren, and then Jack in the other AlphaTauri. So, we have both Aston Martins. We have both Aston Martins and one Mercedes not here tonight. As more times fill on in. To Chiller 41-3. Beatnik 41-2. Zakaria 43-2. Jacob 44-2. And Cryptic, unfortunately, he has to redo his lap as well. Red Fire back up on top, 41-0. A lot of these guys are sitting in some laps, but now we only have 17 right now, so only 2 will be knocked out of Q1. Cryptic goes into the 40s. Yeah, so Q1 only the drivers in 16th and 17th will be knocked out. Then in Q2, P15 to P10 will be knocked out. And then the top 10 bow at Alpha Pole. And as I'm looking at it here, Cryptic did say did get into the 40s, but so did Jacob. 40.4, almost half a second clear Cryptic at this point of Q1. And Joseph Loki, by the way, just put in a P5 with a 41-1. So as more times get filled in, we only got a few more left. So let's see. So Luke, Philden, Maxwell, and Owen have yet to fill out. So it looks like, yeah. So yeah, very sorry about that. We're very sorry on that delay of the talking. Just finding out from Sven that he misunderstood when the race was supposed to start. Yeah, he misunderstood because racing, the lobby starts at 8 p.m. PST with the lobby opening 10 minutes prior, but apparently he thought that the race started at 8:30. Anyway, so it looks like, oh, we have an issue. That is Potter that has crashed. That is right at the exit of turn 7, right by the DRS straight. So, unfortunately, Potter is knocked out, and more times are coming in. Now we're getting into the 39s now, with the Chiller, Maxwell, Jacob, and Joe in the 39s. So now just 2 guys left to get some times in, and that is going to be Philden and Owen. So Joe, currently the fastest man on track for Q1, with 6.5 to go. And Jacob and Maxwell sitting 2 and 3 right now. The one that's gonna have to show pretty good improvement is Beatnik, by the way. He's seeing P9 right now with a 41.2. And also bear in mind, he is on his own. No Scyther tonight. Scyther is not here. So, Mercedes could possibly take a bit of a hit on their gaining ground on Red Bull and the constructors, and a chunk of Scyther's point lead in the Drivers' Championship will take a hit. But probably not by much. As we're on board with Beatnik, and by the looks of it, the track is starting to dry out. But the question is, will it dry out enough to chance some dry tires? Anyways, Beatnik around the final corner, coming across the line shortly. He only advances to P5 with 40.2. Oh, Phil Dent is actually now off and gets, whoa, really loosened on the main straight for some unknown reason. And looks like Maxwell, looking at the tire section. Yeah, looks like Maxwell might be thinking about trying for softs. Now, as we move along. So currently, like I said, so once Flanflo and Owen set their times, we'll be figuring out who will be which individual will be joining Potter out of Q1, as Flanflo actually has spun out, and Zakaria actually just improved to P7. So right now, at this moment, the slowest guy, once Owen and Phil then get their time in, it is going to be Oh, well, we don't know. We really don't know. Only 3 minutes to go, and are some guys coming out for it? Yes, they are. Looks like KVS is going to be first out to gamble with the softs. Let's see if it will work. I do wonder if KVS is gonna, if the time will be good enough to see if maybe the time will work. I'm not sure. We'll have to wait and see. But only time will tell. I mean, literally no one. I don't think I've seen anyone else go out for. Oh, never mind. I was gonna say, I'm not sure if anyone else is coming out yet for the soft run. And as I say that, Jacob has decided to give it a shot. And that's pretty much it. Just Jacob and more coming out. But question is, with only a minute and a half to go, can they really do it? Can they get back to the pit? Can they get a lap in time? But anyways, so Phil Dennis just constantly being thrown out. So let's see what will happen. But anyways, 30 seconds left. And I think quite a few are on their own in terms of a lap. I digress. So Phil Dent will be knocked out of Q1. Jack just goes fastest with a 38.7. And a whole bunch couldn't get some times in. Phil Dent, Depth Knight, Tadpole. Phil Dent, Tadpole, Depth Knight, The Chiller, Maxwell, and Joe didn't make it in time. And Owen just goes P5. Next across is Beatnik, and he's fastest, 38.2. Who's next? Wavy's here in the Merc. Oh Lord. So KVS comes across, and he puts the Williams in P3. Who's next after that? I believe it is Cryptic. No, Cryptic's gone wide, and he's up into the pit. So he's done enough. So he is going to be through into Q2. Cryptic as well. And yeah, so it is going to be Potter, Philodent, and joined in Wavy Knife, knocked out of Q1, and holy 35.6 for Jacob. So maybe the soft tires came in at the appropriate time. And Luke put in a 37.0. Wow. So, after a unique Q1, Jacob the fastest, with Luke second and Beatnik third. We'll be moving on to Q2 right after this. Alright, here we are for Q number 2, and it is the Chiller first out onto the blocks. And, yeah, so, wait, why do we have 14? I thought we had 18. Why do we have 14? What were we missing? Someone gone? Huh. Well, okay. Didn't expect that. Well, anyways, so this should be quite interesting to say the least. Cause both Williams through to Q2, a Haas through to Q2, so that's a unique spectacle to say the least. But this should be a unique Q2 to say the least. Now, as for my Q2 predictions, who do I think will be knocked out of Q2? Well, I'm bored with the Chiller while I figure that out. I am going to say, for the 4 to be eliminated, I'm going to say it is going to be both Williams of Depth Knight and KVS. Those two will be knocked out. Man. The other two is going to be a major toss-up. I hate to say it, but I feel sorry. I'm going to say sorry in advance. But I think the bottom 4 for Q2 is going to be both Williams, the Haas of Tadpole, and the Alpha of Sicario. I think that's who's going to get knocked out Q2. I mean, no offense to Sicario, but with the stacked house ahead. I mean, Zakaria could possibly have a shot for Q3, but it's going to be a very big challenge. That's what I can say. Big challenge on Zakaria's part. Anyway, so Chiller coming out of the final corner and go across the line to set the benchmark. And it is a 30.3 to kick it off. Joe now is up next. And he has a 31.3. Sven across the line, also 31.3. Jacob 31.3. Cryptic 30.7 for his. Reese 31.1. Tadpole 32.3. Maxwell is going to have to redo his time lap. KVS 32.8. Let's see who's next. Across it is going to be Owen 33.1. Beatnik 31.9. And yeah, that leaves Maxwell, Depth Knight, Luke, Jack, and Zakaria have to retry a lap. I do wonder, where did Maxwell invalidate at? That is the question. Where did he invalidate the lap at? Probably where Tadpole is. In that little curb area, probably. Or it could be turns 1 and 2. Those two corners are most likely a guarantee for invalidations. There's been quite a bit of those there. Oh, okay. Red wrecked out. That's why. Okay. Well, Maxwell, 30.8 puts him P3. And Jack, 31.6. Death Knight, 32.8. That leaves the 2 Alfa Romeos left to set a lap. Be right back. Okay. So let's see. So Luke is entering the final corners now. Zakaria is starting his. So let's see what Luke can do for a time. P8, 31.7. So 31.7 for Luke. Puts him P8. Now once Zakaria sets his lap, we'll find out who's in the bottom 4. Right now, 3 individuals in that bottom 4. It's Depth Knight, KVS, and Owen. Owen in the bottom 4. Well, let's see what Zakaria has once he crosses the line. And Owen's actually back out on track. Here comes Zakaria around the final corner. And his time will be 32-0. And that knocks Tadpole to the bottom 4. So far, 3 of my 4 are right. Zakaria is sitting on the cusp. And Owen's out on track doing a new lap, so... we'll see what happens. Joe just invalidated. Only 5 minutes to go in Q2. There goes Jacob now. Down the main straight. And he goes fastest. 30.2. That puts him a 10th clear of the chiller. Tadpole bails out to the pits. So is Owen. Owen's in the pits as well. Beatnik just improved on his time, but only P7 for the Mercedes driver. It looks like the Williams pairing, Depth Knight and KVS are back out on track. Jack's back out on track. Maxwell is too. Just under 4 minutes to go in Q2. In Maxwell's case, he's done enough. He is safe for Q3. But let's see. In regards to the times, I think Zakaria's on the cusp, so he's at risk. I think the cutoff is going to be right around with Jack and Luke, I think. Or, if we want to go high, between Beatnik and Jack. That's probably where the cutoff will be. But we'll have to wait and see on what will happen. Depth Knight going through sector number 2. As Jacob and Cryptic are done with their laps. I don't think Depth Knight will probably be happy to being blocked temporarily by Owen. Or was it Jack that did the block? Not sure which one. Oh, it was Owen, okay. So it was Owen that did a little block there. There comes Depth Knight. Across the line. And he's only improved to P11. 300 off Zakaria's time. With only 2 minutes to go. It's crunch time in terms of some of these guys. Alright. Last few seconds. Sicaria the Chiller called it. Luke's called it. Oh, Maxwell's wrecked. So Maxwell's out. Wow. Depth Knight is confirmed out. And Owen goes off into the wall. So Owen is out. My question is, what about the other two? AVS and Tadpole. Here goes Tadpole. Here comes Tadpole. Cross the line. V11. So Tadpole knocked out. And only KVS couldn't do it. So all's wrong on Sicaria. He just made it into Q3. I think. Now we're just waiting on Owen, and then we can move on into Q3. So Owen, KVS, Depth Knight, Tadpole, and Maxwell knocked out of Q2. So who will get pole? We'll find out right after this when we load back to Q3. So here we are for Q3, and here's who is left. So we have one Ferrari, both Alfa Romeos, both Red Bulls, a Mercedes, an Alpine, an AlphaTauri, and a McLaren. That's the group for Q3, and looks like Luke is first. of this group. Do for that. Whoa, boy. Pirouette. Well, I was gonna say, what kind of lap would Luke do? And nope, he just pirouettes out of turn 2. I think he got too much of the curve. I believe he caught a little too much curve in turn number 2, and then just spun out. Cryptic just invalidated, so his lap means nothing. So did Chiller. Did Chiller invalidated too? Who's next? Oh, Jack. It's Jack. Jack is gonna be probably gonna be the first one. Jack will set the benchmark, as Luke and Cryptic will have to redo. Luke because of a spin, and Cryptic for invalidating exiting turn 5. Now, looks like Joe just had an incident. On turn number 13. And Jack, benchmark time, 31.4. Beatnik answers with a 31.1, only for Joe to respond with a 30.5. Interesting. Looks like Jacob's gonna have to do another lap. Must have had a problem somewhere. Let's see what Yeast can do for a lap. We are on board with him. And he's invalidated in turn number 4. Wow. Invalidations galore, I guess. Since Chill just did it again. Oh, Lord. Looks like some of these guys are going to be retrying their laps. At least get some kind of a time. Validations galore was hitting some of these guys. Zakaria come across the line. 31.8. moved on for Cryptic. He's working on the lap. Luke is right behind. Further back is Reese. Jacob is yet to come back. Has yet to go back out onto the track to do a better lap. See what happens. Raising it for Cryptic. Across the line. 30.3. Puts him fastest overall for right now. Luke just matched Beatnik on his time. Like dead even. Damn. And Reese just did better, 31-0. Well, that's left is the chiller. Jacob is actually returning back out to the track. 3.5 minutes to go in Q3. Alright, moving on with the chiller, he's finishing his lap. I don't know what kind of lap, what kind of time he'll be able to set. Here he comes across the line. It's only P3, 30.5, 6 milliseconds off of Joe's time. Jacob wraps up his out lap and begins one of his final flying laps. Luke has called it. He's in the pits, he's called it, so he's unofficially P6 for right now. See, I wonder what will happen for pole. Looks like Jacob has taken to the escape road. He's gonna try again next time. Jacob will have to try again on the next lap. Looks like Jack is in the pits, so Jack will not be going any further. Jack will not be going any further in this qualifying. And so will Joe. Maybe. Nope. Joe's staying out. He's going to go for one final attempt. So, this bears the question, can Jacob unseat Cryptic for pole? Or will we have a brand new surprise in Joe, maybe? We don't know. Anything can happen.
as these guys are moving along. So we'll see what is going to happen here. They haven't invalidated yet, so it's going to be unique. B-Nick is going to be next, by the way. So, 1 of 3 to challenge Cryptic. There we go. There's Beatnik. Rumbles across the line. And it's only P4. There comes Jacob now. And did Jacob just match him? Jacob just matched Cryptic. No, by 0.02 of a second he missed it. And Joe just got pole by 1/10 of a second. So Joe pole from Cryptic and Jacob. Dang. Wow. McLaren was on pole. I don't freaking remember. I have no idea where, I have no idea when the last time McLaren took pole in RPL F1. Alright, so here we go for the formation lap. So here is our grid for today's event. So row 9, it is going to be Wavy Knife with Philaden making up making up that back row. Potter and Red Fire both crashed out in Q1. They'll be accompanying each other in row 8. Row 7, it is Owen and KVS. Then row 6, we have Depth Knight and Tadpole. Tadpole just missing out in Q3. Maxwell crashed out in Q2. He'll be starting in P10, and he's got Sakari alongside to finish up row 5. Row 4, it is Jack up against Luke. Then we have Reese and Beatnik making up row 3. Row 2, it is DeChiller and Jacob. And then in the front row, it is Cryptic and Joe. So looking at the tire compounds here, Joe, Jacob, Luke, Jack, Tadpole, and Owen are going to be starting the race on tires. Everybody else is on the mediums. So that should be interesting. So a couple drivers going on for the hards, the rest on mediums. So yeah, different strategies for some of these drivers. 27 laps is the distance. And, well, in this scenario, we will be looking at a third different winner. We'll be looking at a third different winner in RPL F1. Basically, all rounds except for rounds 5 and 7 was won by Scyther. Round 5 was canceled, and round 7 was won by TB. So, here we go. The 5 lights come on. As for the angle, it's weird for the French Grand Prix. As lights out, and away we go. It looks like Cryptic got a better launch against Joe, and so has the Chiller up against Jacob as they make their way into turn number 1. And this is going to be pretty unique to say the least, as Reese is battling with Luke already. And turn number 2, it looks like we had trouble already in turn number 2, in the first couple corners. Looks like it is Owen and Potter getting together. But looks like everything's falling into line already. As Cryptic got a better start against Joe, and the Chiller had a better start against Jacob. As the drivers filter around, trying to figure out where they want to move for some of these positions. So Maxwell battling up against Jack, by the way. Swing gets around to get in the P8. Just caught that in the background. Meanwhile, Beatnik also just got clear of Jacob to put himself in the P4. So for the hard compound tire guys, tires ain't heating up. As these guys are coming around the last corner, as well, Zakaria's coming to the pits. Anyway, so your top 10, it is Cryptic, Joe, The Chiller, Beatnik, Jacob, Reese, Maxwell, Luke, Red Fire, as Cryptic just goes spinning. Snap of oversteer, and he goes around. Joe inherits the lead. Death Knight was P10, but now it is Philaden. But Cryptic just fell to P11 after that spin. Ooh, we just caught that on the stream. Cryptic came out of turn 2 fine, and then just lost it, and just wound up losing it on his own. Just a snap of oversteer, and he was just done. That is just unfortunate on Cryptic's part. Now he's gonna have to rebuild some of that lost momentum as he's battling Philadent to get himself back into the points. Cryptic, a slight recovery charge, and whoa, just nearly loses it again, almost taking Philadent with them. Now, Cryptic has fallen to P12. Something must be really wrong with the Red Bull setup, as Cryptic gets clear underneath of Jack to get himself back into P11. And also, Philaden, by the way, just had a little bit of understeer as well. Looks like problems at the back of the grid. Otter and Zakaria having a moment. Now, DRS is now available. Here we go. We're going to have a battle for the lead as the Chiller going way up to the left side of the track. And it gets clear, and he is ahead of Joe. So the Chiller takes the lead. And Wavy and Jack battling for P12, by the way. Wavy just got clear of him. Huh. Interesting. Up to the field, we have Reese in pursuit of Beatnik, by the way. Reese. Just make sure I have that. Make sure it's correct. So Reese, by the way, just want to mention about with Reese and with this track, Reese, what is a defending, is a former winner of this race in France. He won it in season 5, which was actually a slightly shortened race because of a mass crash out near the end of the event. Reese was ultimately declared the winner. The defending race champion is NRX Flynn. He was the winner last season. Anyways, Reese was successful in clearing Beatnik, and he's up into P3 now. So maybe, well, actually, Beatnik's not on the hard compound tires. He is on the mediums, just like Reese. So I guess for the medium tire runners, they're taking a nice, easy advantage because of those hards not coming to light for some of these drivers. Looks like some of these drivers are falling into line as Maxwell and Wavy were fighting for P9. And just ahead, Luke. Oh, Luke has had a problem. In the mini straight, falls to P11. Right behind Jack. We had another issue earlier. That was on Jacob. He has fallen to P6 as Maxwell clears Depth Knight to get into P7. Depth Knight falls to P8. So I have to wait just a tiny bit to go for another go. Depth Knight does have DRS. Not close enough to warrant an attack. Meanwhile, the Chiller, by the way, 1.7 seconds clear of Joe And Joe, by the way, also 1.7 seconds clear of Reese. As we're seeing some yellow flags, and looking at the track map, it's just Owen horsing around. It's just Owen horsing around. He's already been lapped. Looks like Beatnik just overtook Reese for P3 again. That's right before turn 11. Right before turn 11 he got him at. Further back. On board with Jack. As he is dealing with the Williams of KVS. And Owen has wrecked on the DRS straight. And it looks like Jacob's having some problems. He's falling to 13th now. Jacob was complaining earlier of setup problems. It looks like the setup issue is still haunting him. Meanwhile, we're here with the Chiller leading the way. Reese sitting in 4th. See if we can try to reel in Beatnik to see if we can reclaim that P3. Not far enough, not close enough. Anyways, little mini train here. Depth Knight, Wavy, Luke. On board with Luke. We have lost only one driver so far, that being Owen. As Jack is still all around on KVS to get that final point position. Whoa, that's a Haas going wide. That's a Tadpole going wide. Anyway, so looking at our lap counter, we're on lap 7 of 27. So we're a quarter of the way through this event. It's going to be an interesting fight. Oh! Jacob sneaking a peek on Jack. Caught Jack off guard. And that little attack of his worked. Jacob up at the P11. But Jack's not giving up. He's looking to fight back. And Jacob gives him a little nudge. Oh! Oh! Jacob goes spinning with Jack as well. Tadpole wasn't included, but I think I know what happened. Jack went for an attack on KVS and either didn't turn enough or KVS turned too soon. Caught Jack. Jack spun and in turn got Jacob. I think that's what happened. But Zakaria is also out of the event now. So he is the second driver out of this race. It looks like, yeah, Jacob is in going for a two-stop strategy. Going on to the soft compound. A new wing. Tadpole doing the same thing. Alright, meanwhile, Death Knight and Luke. Luke on the inside. And gets ahead. On to P7. So up into P7. Luke goes. Death Knight putting on a good showing, to say the least. And in the end, it wasn't going to last much longer. Meanwhile, Reese still harassing Beatnik for that P3. Now, looking at our field now. So, the Chiller, 3.1 seconds clear of Joe. And Joe is ahead of Beatnik, Reese, Redfire, Maxwell, Luke, Death Knight, Wavy, and KVS to wrap up the top 10. And then the rest is Jack, Cryptic, Philodent, Jacob, Tadpole, and Potter to round out the field. Reese is still all over, trying to get clear of Beatnik, and that's pretty much the only major fight at this present moment. Well, actually, man, maybe I spoke it too soon, because Wavy is now going to be harassing Death Knight for P8. Meanwhile, Death Knight wants to get past Luke to get P7. Looks like Reese, Beatnik, and Redfire are in. So a double stack on Alpine's part. Let's hope it works. Pretty good. Hope it works well. Let's see where they come out. Beatnik just came out. He is right ahead of KVS. Same in Reese's part. Redfire, though, is right behind Jack. But they pitted, so let's see what happens. Let's see what happens in this circumstance. On board with Reese. In Reese's case, he's actually been holding pretty good so far with this event, hanging around close to the podium position. Should be pretty interesting to see the least. And it looks like the Chiller and Maxwell have decided to go in. So leader is in. There's Maxwell just getting in. And so is Wavy. Wavy has decided to come in now. Now the Chiller back up in the speed, and he comes out alongside Luke. Oh boy, I might get a bit hair raising. But Luke just stays ahead of the Chiller. Maxwell comes out behind Redfire in P8. And Wavy comes up behind, way behind Cryptic in P10. P11, I'm sorry. Meanwhile, Maxwell sneaking a move on the inside of Luke. Luke hasn't pitted yet, but Maxwell has. And he's back into P2 now. But in Joe's case, Joe is on the hard compound tire, so is Luke. They can go slightly longer, but they will have to pit for those mediums later on. Luke's case, he'll be pretty vulnerable to being in the mid-pack. But for Joe, he could theoretically come out a pit stop ahead of the Chiller if he plays the timing right. Where will Depth Knight come out? Actually, he is coming on. He's coming back out. Is he gonna be ahead of Wavy? Yes, he is. So Depth Knight comes out P10, just ahead of Wavy and Phildent. Now Red Fire having to deal with Maxwell. There he goes alongside, on the inside, and Maxwell to P6. Reese up against the clock. And Reese now all over Beatnik to get himself into, to try to get back into P4, which will be net P3 once Luke comes in. Now, by the way, if we want to just mention some of these with some names, Joseph Loki, by the way, who is still leading for right now. His last win, if he somehow manages to pull off a win, his last win was back in round 17 last season in Shanghai, in China. His last one. The Chiller, though, if he does the unthinkable and gets a win, I really need to go way back to find the Chiller's last win. Alright, gotta go way back. Yeah, massively back. Dang, I am having a hard time finding it. I mean, literally, I'm up in a season 2 and I still don't see it. Oh, here it is. So in the Chiller's case, actually, the Chiller did take the lead while I was looking at my screen trying to find it. Joe is pitted. The Chiller, his last win was the penultimate round of season 1, which was in Brazil. So it's been like over 5 seasons since the Chiller last won an RPL event. So, new fights are up and around for this group. There's Potter. He's a lap down. It looks like Depth Knight, Philden, and Wavy, they're fighting. Whoa! No surprise on Philden's part. But Depth Knight's still maintaining P10. Philden's trying his best to get that position. Oh, very close contact. Philden just took that P10. And now has to deal with Wavy for P9. Speaking of which, Joe pitted pitted a lap prior. The Chiller was about 3.5 seconds ahead when Joe came out. Joe actually has not improved much. Only about 1/10 of a second. We'll have to do a comparison for the next lap, I guess. We'll have to do a comparison from the next lap, I suppose. Anyways, Beatnik now battling with Luke. I just realized that I don't think Luke's pitted yet, has he? No, he hasn't. Luke is still out on track. There goes Reese on the outside, now the inside, and he's ahead of Beatnik. Anyway, so here we go as we will kick off lap number 16 of 27. De Chiller 2.8 seconds ahead of Joe. And Joe has set the fastest lap. Man, me oh my. Luke is just having a fun time dealing with both Reese and Beatnik. This is a maddening three-way fight for P3, despite that Luke has yet to pit. He's still putting up a strong fight. This has been pretty unique to say the least, but anyways, here comes Luke. Still harassing Reese. It looks like Maxwell has now inserted himself into the party too. Maxwell in the fray. Depth Knight having to do with Philden. In the move? No, he does not. Depth Knight stays where he is. And now looking at the front two between Joe and the Chiller. 2.8 was the difference last lap. Now 2.5. So Joe has gained 0.3 of a second as Luke has finally come in. 0.3 of a second. So, factor that in. Means if we factor it in, about 0.3 a lap gain on the Chiller. That means Joe will catch the Chiller with 4 to go. Now Luke has to return back out on the track after that pit stop, and he is out in P8. And all by himself, too. Let's see. Behind Luke, there's still that three-way fight between Philden, Depth Knight, and Wavy. As Jacob just set the fastest lap. Unfortunately, he's sitting in P14, so he's not looking at points for right now. At least knowing he has the fastest lap could account for something. As Jack just by the way, just got clear of KVS for P12. I will say, in Jack's case, Jack has had a bit of an up and down race tonight. Meanwhile, we're back with the Chiller and Joe. This time, Joe gained about 0.4 of a second on the Chiller this time. 1.8 seconds separate the two. The gap's starting to close up. Oh, this should be a unique fight for the last few laps. That's what it could be in this circumstance. Anyways, here goes Maxwell down the inside, and he gets slingshots around Beatnik. Takes P4. Now has its sights set on Reese for P3. Again, that last step on the podium. Meanwhile, Joe is still maintaining grip with the Chiller. 1.4 seconds now, almost 0.4 up in that part of the lap. We're on board with the Chiller. We're on board with Joe. And now we're on board with the Chiller. As you can see, there is Joe right in the background, and he is now in DRS range. So what will the Chiller do to keep Joe back? Axel's also managed to sneak up on Reese. Could be a fight for P3. Yeah, for P3. Not close enough. Axel's gonna have to wait at least another lap or two. So we get back up to the front. Maxwell did get clear of Reese, just caught that briefly. But Joe is on the Chiller. We're gonna have a battle for the lead very, very shortly. Here we go. Joe on the tail. And with only 7 to go, the Chiller is gonna have to do something extraordinary to keep Joe behind. But the overtake seems to be inevitable. Yeah, overtake seems inevitable, but Joe just had a malfunction in that first sector. He was about 0.2 up before turn 1. Now that's fallen over 0.7. Look at the ERS modules between the two. Joe 22%, Matt on the Chiller nearly double. This is gonna get good. A fight to the end here. Should be interesting to say the least. But the Chiller, he's got much higher ERS left to use compared to Joe. Meanwhile, while those two are fighting, Maxwell, by the way, just checking the boards, is now about 10 seconds behind the Chiller. Maxwell slightly gaining. at this fight. Death Knight and Wavy again. Philaden's fitting in. Oh wait, no, Wavy's got that penalty. That's why it is. But let's get back to the real fight between Maxwell and between the Chiller and Joe. He's trying to gain that speed, getting almost 15 miles an hour faster than the Chiller, and the Chiller's got a penalty. So now the Chiller, well, his chance for a win is now done. Unless you can prove that you got that track limit penalty unfairly, which is an extreme rarity. Actually, in this case, he better just hope that Joe gets one. Does Joe got it? I wonder, does Joe got any warnings? Let's see. He's only got one. So the Chiller's gonna be in slight trouble. The Chiller's gonna be in slight trouble. Because with only 5 to go, he's gonna have to pull a 3-second gap over Joe. Well then Wavy, by the way, they're fighting again. Oh yeah, that's why, because Philden's lagging. That's why. So Philden is having latent internet. Is not doing too great, but Wavy's still in pursuit to improve to P9, but with that penalty, we'll get dumped to P11 regardless. Meanwhile, Reese still keeping on toes with Maxwell to see if maybe he could trick Maxwell into a mistake, or he could take P3 back. So a few fights around. I mean, literally, we have a fight for the lead, we have a fight for the last place in the podium position, and we have a 3-way fight for the last couple of points. I mean, literally, it's just utter chaos and pandemonium. The Chiller is just not showing any signs of giving up. He's trying to break that 1-second toe to make sure Joe does not get the DRS anymore. Currently, he's not doing it by much. Meanwhile, Death Knight gets clear of both. Wow! Death Knight just took care of Philden and Wavy for P9. Talk about a nice double overtaking. Talk about a nice double overtake. And clear a Wavy and Merrick and a laggy McLaren. Death Knight's really showing his stride. Meanwhile, back up front, 3 to go, and Joe is still under a second behind the Chiller. So the Chiller is gonna have to hope on Joe to get a track limit penalty in order to keep his win secure. Let's take a look. Nah, still one warning. So the chiller is gonna have to hope that Joe gets a track limit warning, at least 2 of them, within the next 3 laps. Felden has bailed off to the pits, and that's gonna put Wavy up into. That's gonna put Wavy in a P10, but unfortunately, because of the penalty he's got, he's got another one. Jack will take P10 from him. And Felden has called it. He is out of the race right near the end. Now, as they cross the line, Chiller still not even a second ahead with only 2 to go. This could get unique. This could get pretty. This could get pretty bad, ugly. I'm just not sure what the Chiller can do to keep Joe back. Looks like everything is going to be falling into place for this, unless something insanely dramatic happens. The Chiller, Joe, is going to be looking at his first win of RPL Season 7. And I believe this, when he gets this win, this is going to be his 4th? I believe it's his 4th RPL career win in Tier 1. But now we are entering the final lap of the French Grand Prix. The Chiller has been leading for a long while, but unfortunately a 3-second track limit penalty decided to kiss his win goodbye. Joe is still in the crosshairs of that win. Now Maxwell will secure a P3. It's been a while since Maxwell was on the top step of the podium. Not top step. Has been on the podium. Reese put on a strong showing to be P4. Beatnik P5, Redfire P6, Cryptic had some issues at the opening couple of laps, sitting in P7. Luke, a good reserve run to be P8. Depth Knight, also a good reserve run to be P9. And Wavy, well, would be P10 had he not gotten on penalties. Jack will be taking P10. But as they come through these last few corners for the final time, the Chiller would have hoped to win, but unfortunately it is not going to be the case in this scenario. As they come across the line, the Chiller will cross the line first, but it is Joseph Loki who will win the French Grand Prix. And here comes Maxwell, successful for a podium, P3 for Maxwell. Reese P4, Beatnik P5. Redfire settling for P6. So nice showing from the Alpine team. Cryptic sitting P7. Luke will now come across the line. He will get P8. Depth Knight P9, and Wavy will cross the line P10, but the 1 point will go to Jack. Potter lap down, P15 for the newcomer. And Wavy, unfortunate, misses out on a point in the Mercedes. But KVS P12, Tadpole P13, and last but not least will be Jacob finishing in P14 after he was putting on a decently good performance at the start for the opening laps, but then issues later on relegated him out of those points. But Jacob did secure fastest lap. And driver of the day, Red Fire Tiger. Oh. Uh-oh. I think because Luke left early, I think we have a crash. I think we have a crash in the game. Uh-oh. Dang. Oh, there we go. Well, there you go. Joe wins. God. Really? The guy's got a freaking ballet junk as his victory thing. Anyways, the Chiller put on a hard fight, but if he did not get that 3-second track limit penalty, he would have won. I mean, hell, if the Chiller did not get that penalty, he would have won and he would have gotten driver today. I mean, what's wrong with him? Anyways, so Joe wins, the Chiller second, Maxwell third, Reese 4, Beatnik P5, Redfire P6, Cryptic P7, Luke P8, Depth Knight P9, and Jack to wrap up in P10. And then the rest of the grid, it is Wavy P11, KVS P12, Tadpole 13th, Jacob fastest lap 14th, Potter 15th, Philaden 16th, Zakaria 17th, and Owen in 18th. So that will conclude the stream for today. So next week, we will be kicking it off with round 2 of the lower division series. Friday, F1 Tier 2 will be racing around in Bahrain. F2 Saturday will be in Saudi Arabia, racing on the Jenner Corniche circuit. F1 next week deals with the ace track, the ace track itself, Spa-Francorchamps. So, from RPL Streets this time, I will say good night and have a good one.